Hey everyone, this is Derek here, and this is me in the office, and this is my camera, and this is my camera, and these are not cameras, they're lenses. We're talking about cameras here because that's a lot of what I do at this job, is take pictures and record videos, and we just upgraded from our old camera to a new camera. So I'm going to be unboxing and kind of showing and explaining the camera and how everything works. So first off, here's my old camera. This one here is an Olympus. Olympus. This is hard to do with one hand. Okay, put the camera down, which is actually my cell phone, and I would normally shoot this on my camera, but I'm showing you my camera, so it's a little bit weird. I'm just going to take this top piece off because it's actually not needed for this. So the top piece here is going to need to be replaced. I haven't bought a new replacement for it yet. So windsock and a microphone. Now this camera here has been run over by a car before, and when that happened, the microphone actually broke. You can kind of see it has this springy thing to cancel out the sound, and a lot of those have broken. So it's actually a broken mic. This has been a really good mic. This is a Tascam TM2X, and you can change the direction of the mic. It's a direction full microphone, and I usually shoot it with the up position, so when I hold the camera like this, it can record more of me than it records the sound of the car engine, which the internal camera microphone, stereo here and here, it doesn't do very well. And so this will be replaced, but for now, just the camera. This is an E-M5 MarkII. This is the third one of this camera that I've owned. I owned the E-M5 Mark I, and then I bought two of the Mark IIs because I liked the Mark I so much. This is what they call a micro four thirds. I'm just going to take the lens off here so that you can see. Micro four thirds is what Olympus and Panasonic make, and it's in reference to the size of the sensor. You can actually see some dust that's in there, but when you run the camera, it shakes the dust off. The sensor on this is a quarter the size of the sensor on here. And so this is one of the big reasons why I did the upgrade to the new camera. This is a 35mm equivalent sensor, and this is the micro four thirds. Now the reason why I got the Olympus to begin with is because I really like the slim size of it. It's a very nice small camera. It's a very high-end camera for the type of work that I do. And in general, I think I paid like $1,200 or $1,500 for the base. And then I had a lens left over from the last time I had one of these. The lens that I use, this is just a kit lens. And this is the other more expensive lens that I owned. The lens makes a big difference in the camera because the amount of light that you can get into the camera makes a big difference. You ideally want a lens that is a higher end and can allow more light. If you don't know about cameras, let me just show you this. Okay, I can't find it on there. It'll be on here. So there's an f-stop number. You see here how it says 1 to 2.8, 12 to 35. And so this is an f2.8 on a micro four thirds. And so you would times that by 2 to be about a 35mm equivalent to 3.2, f3.2. The new camera, new lens, it allows a lot more light, which is very good. The lens I've been using though has to be this one here instead of this one. This one went swimming, and if you look into it, you can actually see some of the chlorine from the water is in there. No mention on how it went swimming. That's embarrassing. This isn't a good lens. I feel like my reports went down in quality when we moved from this one to this one. With less light in there, it's more prone to blurring. It's harder to focus. This is especially noticeable in videos. This one here, because it has the same aperture, no matter what your focal distance is, that makes a big difference. Let me just show you this. This one here is 1 to 3.5 to 6.3. Can you see that? So So depending on how much you're zoomed in, you actually get less light in. This is what most lenses are like. This one here that allows the same amount of light in no matter what the focal distance is, which is very cool. This allows you to zoom in without it really refocusing. This lens is probably worth about $50 when it's used in good condition, and this one's probably about $600 to $800 used in good condition, and maybe around $1,000 when it's new. Okay, now this one has in-body stabilization, which means that the sensor actually moves. There's going to be more on that in just a bit. This camera here also has the same thing, but it is a little bit different. I very much liked the camera. I think that the biggest limitation for me is the lack of dynamic range, and it has some quirky little things with the in-body image stabilizer. So first off, I got this one used in Japan, and I bought this one from B&H Photo, which if you buy cameras, you'll probably know about because they are worldwide one of the more popular places to buy camera from. I bought them separately because this one here, if you buy the, did I even say the name of this? Sony A7III. When you buy that in Japan, it's locked to only be able to show you Japanese on the menus. And I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't want to be looking for this one feature that I use one time a year. And go, Jesus, what is it called in Japanese? There's no like set terminology for certain things when it comes to cameras. And so it's frustrating even in English until you're used to a camera. And if I'm going to be using this every day, it's got to be something that is easy to use and easy to change over. I've probably taken, well, hundreds of thousands of pictures using this camera. I suspect this is going to be the same for this one. I also suspect that this camera is going to help, oh, that's weighty, help improve the videos that we shoot, and especially any of the fun videos that we want to shoot. How to do it one-handed. This is where we need Mike to come and do the camera now. All the other people that review cameras online, they usually have lots of cameras, it seems, and so they can shoot this all with a good camera instead of with an iPhone. Okay, so right off the bat you can see it is a lot of a larger camera. This one here at the moment, you can buy these for maybe $800, and these are about $1,500, so it is a step up in terms of camera. The reason why I went for the Sony here is the higher dynamic range and a much bigger sensor in it. A bigger sensor allows more light. You can see there, way bigger. Allows more light in, and so it would be better use of video, especially in kind of darker conditions like you would get in the interior of a car. It also, like, because of dynamic range, when you're using this camera here, if it's a white car, I feel like the camera automatically darkens the image too much, and you have to boost it up manually, which can be a little bit annoying because when you do that, you actually lose a lot of the image detail in the lights, and it just washes it out. I hope that not to be a case here. Okay, now I'm gonna take out the new lens. Now this one here, I'm a bit surprised at the size of the lens. I posted this on Facebook. That's a lot bigger of a lens. And again, this comes down to the light. We want to get as much light into there as possible in order for you to have the best shutter speeds, the lowest amount of blur. And so this lens hopefully will be able to do that for me. This one here, like this one, has the same aperture no matter what the zoom is. I find that that's very handy, especially for what I shoot. So this one here is an f4 compared to this one, which is an equivalent. Now, camera people are going to be angry at me, but a 2.8 would be what? A 5.6? Yeah. I don't know. I could be so wrong about that. Anyways, bigger lens is better. That's what I'm saying. You can see the tape on here. That's from this one being run over. When this one was run over, I replaced the screen. Actually, I've replaced the screen twice on this. You can see the glue around the outside of the screen. Let's put the lenses on and compare them. I'm going to use knees for holding the phone. And I'll put this lens on because this is the one that I've been using the most, even though it's currently not the one that I use. It's closer in terms of actual performance to this one here. Oh, how do you do this? So the Micro Four Thirds has a nice little lineup. There's a dot on the lens, and there's a dot on the body. See the dot on the lens right here? And then you line up the dots, and then it's easy to put it on. I'm not sure if Sony has anything like that. Okay. That was bum cam. Okay, I think, is this the right way up? Or is this? I don't know. So, it's a lot bigger. Now this one has the shield on the front. I can take that off, and that'll be the equivalent size. This one has a backwards shield. And you would normally just put it backwards like this so it doesn't get in the way. This is to prevent glare. Okay. And it comes with a little strap, I guess. I currently use 6 camera batteries with this and cycle them out so that I always have one used. In a day, I can go through 3 or 4 batteries. Let's see this one here. This mount piece, take that off. And this one can go in. Look at this dynamic camera. And kind of sad because it's broken. I guess I'll have to get a new mic. The wind sock is absolutely necessary when I shoot outside. Otherwise it sounds like... And this will probably plug in somewhere over here. I will say I am a little bit afraid. The camera I was looking at getting to replace my camera was either the Panasonic G5 MarkII, which is a very, very good Micro Four Thirds. I wanted to get a full sensor, but about the sensor, image stabilization is in the body. They actually physically move the sensor around. And with a small sensor in this, it's easier to move it quickly because of less weight in the sensor. And because of the sensor size, it can't actually move as far. So this one theoretically gets better stabilization compared to this one. And I'm not entirely sure if a stabilized lens like this one can work in tandem with the in-body stabilizer at the same time. Now in terms of video, this one shoots, we usually shoot at a very low bitrate, the lowest bitrate here for file size reasons. This one has a much higher bitrate. I don't actually know the amount, but that should be a very big improvement in the quality of the video. And then if I want to do any fun things like 4K, it has that, whereas this one here is 1080. And it also does 1080 at 240 frames a second, where I think this one's fastest is 60 frames a second. And so for something like a slow-mo shot, you'd be able to get something better with this. As far as focus goes, this one, the E-M5, uses contrast focusing, which kind of is sucky. I actually don't know if this uses contrast as well. I did look it up. I crossed out a whole bunch of cameras that are off of the, just weren't suitable. And this one here, actually I didn't tell you, there's the Panasonic, there's this one. There's another one, the A7III, which is a bit higher level, but I chose not to get that one. And the, shoot, what was the last one? The Nikon Z6. So that's one I chose. We'll see how it goes. I guess from here on, any of my reports that are going to be going up, actually not right away, I got a few that are lined up, but they're going to be moving over to this, so you can look forward to that. And these, this lens and this one actually shoot very similar. If you see, this is a 12 to 50. This one's 24 to 105. But the way that the Micro Four Thirds works is that a 12 to 50 has a 35mm equivalent to 24 to 100. So this is 24 to 105. So I should be able to get the same angles with this. Although the lens being that much further up, I don't know if I'll get as wide of a view inside the car with it, because the actual surface of the lens is going to be now closer to the dashboard. At any rate, we'll see. I don't really know what else to say. I'm not a camera reviewer, but there you go. There's what we have.